Yep.
Hi, I'm Greg McManus. We already went through in my previous video, showing on how to lay out the wall plate. Now we're going to go through a couple different rafter layouts. For the wall, we've used 16-inch on center, which, again, just to recap, means we would have had a stud every 16 inches. Our roof, however, has gone to 24-inch on center, and we'll get to that. That's more part of the math in figuring out how long your rafters are going to be. Today we're going to focus more on the layout of said rafters. So I'll take you through how I work it. Only thing really I'm going to need, tape measure. I got my trusty square here again, my quick square, and a pencil. Other than that, a few factors you need to know. The roof we're working with on this specific project is a 6/12 pitch, and that'll come into factor when we go through how we're going to use the quick square in this exercise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, we're going to do a common rafter. So the common rafter is the main rafter that makes up your roof in most aspects of it. So this common rafter we've got here, we've figured out, we've done the math already. It measures 80 1/2 inches. So I'm going to take my tape measure right from the end, and I'm going to go all the way to 80 1/2 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get this as close to the bottom here, 80 1/2 inches. Alright, so we know this is the vicinity in which we're going to be making our cut. Obviously I'm not going to cut it, it's right over top of my stand here, but this is where we're going to get into using the square. So what we're going to do here is, we know again it's a 6/12 pitch. So again I'm just going to make this so that I can slide it around. This bottom part here is the pivot point. You can actually see that it lists pivot. It also tells you here there's different measurements for your pitch, for your hip and your valley, and the bottom section here, the same exact measurements, but this is the slot you would use for a common rafter. So right now I'm going to use this slot because we're going to do a common rafter. And I know when I set this on here, common rafter, we've got a 6/12 pitch. So this is where your pivot point comes in. I'm going to take this here and I'm going to pivot it. And I'm going to make it so that the 6 lines up with the back side of my rafter. So this here is a 2x4. So I'm lining it up with the back side of the 2x4. So then I'm just going to hold it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my angle down. And what we've done here is, when we cut this, we've made this the accurate angle to incorporate that 6/12 pitch, so that when we install this rafter, it'll install nice and tight. So then what we're going to do is we're going to have to come back down here. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to move this, just for the purpose of this exercise here. And I'm going to set my quick square back up. Again, I've lined up my pivot point with my pencil mark here, because I know that's the end of my measurement. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn this on the pivot point until my 6 lines up back here. I'm going to hold this in place, making sure I don't move it from that 6. And I'm going to draw my angle cut down so that it intersects perfectly with that back point there. So when we go to cut a common rafter, we can use this exact layout, and as long as we cut these properly,